Alright, this is John Colo with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're just actually going to talk story with you guys and share with you guys part of my history and why I believe the things I do. Now, the last video I posted is why I'm not vegan and is anybody 100% vegan. Was a video that got spurred on to me because, there's all kinds of inconsistencies in life, and, nobody could ever be one thing or another thing. It's really hard to put a label on anybody, whether you want to have that label raw, vegan, black, white, Christian, non-Christian. I think labels create divisions, and what I want to do is basically just create a better world, simply. So I'm going to share some stories with you guys on why I became raw, why I got into a plant-based diet, why I went vegan, and some of the experiences in my life that have moved me and shifted me, right? And I want you guys to post some experiences down below that you guys have had that have shifted your consciousness, your beliefs, and how you think and do things in your life, because we're all different and we should embrace how people are and work to educate them on maybe how to be better if they want to be. But some people are not ready to change. If you're still a meat eater, that's great. I don't ever encourage you guys to stop eating meat, but what I do encourage you guys to do is massively minimize the consumption of the meat you're eating, because you can still be a meat eater and be a great person, but there's some vegans out there, unfortunately, and if you're a meat eater, you're a bad person. Come on, man, let's just get real. Nobody's going to ever stop eating all meat, but what people will do is they'll stop their consumption if you're nice to them and let them know there are benefits and huge benefits to eating more fruits and vegetables, which undoubtedly, in my opinion, are the best foods on the planet. So anyways, let's get into some of this story. So basically what happened to me was that, right out of college, I was stricken with a disease called spinal meningitis, and I had like flu-like symptoms, and I was vomiting, and my girlfriend at the time, took care of me, gave me Theraflu, and I just hate the smell of that stuff to the day because I was just vomiting that and I wasn't getting better. So my parents actually had to drive an hour to come pick me up, and they had to basically take me to the hospital. On the drive up there, I passed out, and I remember vomiting while I'm waiting to get into the hospital, and then the next thing I know, I woke up with like an IV in the intensive care unit, and I was like, oh my God, where am I? Because I had no idea what was happening. And the doctor came in and said, John, you have what's called spinal meningitis. And I'm like, all right, because my thought was, when you go to the doctors, you're sick, the doctors make you better, you get up, you walk out of there, and you go home, and you act as if nothing had happened. So I said, when am I getting out of here? And the doctor said, well, you might not make it out of here, we have no treatment for you. So I was like, wow, man, this is pretty crazy. Like, here it is, possibly the end of my life while I'm in my 20s, and this can't be happening. This is not supposed to happen until you're like 65 or something, is what I thought back then, but now I know that's really a too young age to go anyways. But what I determined at that point is that, wow, man, I'm about to lose my life, and what's really valuable, like all these years I went to college and went to school, and I'm all taught in society to, like, we got to make money, right? We got to have money because that's the most important thing in life, right? The money. And I learned at a young age, that money is not the most important thing in life. It's your health, because without your health, you don't have anything. You could not be here and have a bank account full of money that you can't take with you, right? You can't enjoy it. So what good is money, right? It's this faux system we live in, they make marketing and things make you think that things are important when they're really not. So, I really want to encourage you guys to really think it to yourself, what's important to you. And everybody's going to have different, things that are important to them. And of course, I have my own list. And health is at the number one importance to me, because without my health, I've determined I can't love other people. I can't have fun and experience the joy of life. I can't experience nature. I can't engage in my hobbies. I can't do anything. So I really want to encourage you guys to, to think more than just about the money, and don't let money guide your life, because most people just, I have my job because I need to make money, because I need to pay my bills, but you don't really like doing any of it. So you could change, you could, do other things to reduce your expenses, and I'm not even going to get into that, but, I really want to encourage you guys not to do things in your life just based on money alone, right? It's not as important as we're led to believe, all right? So anyways, all I could say in through that situation is that I just really prayed a lot that I would get out of the situation, and I thought that if money is not important, John, what is important in life? And that really perplexed me, because I really didn't know, but I thought about it more. And I was raised Catholic, and one of the things and the Catholic and religions is do unto others as you would have done to you. You know, so it's like, wow, maybe I should, like, if I get out of here, God, whomever I was praying to, maybe there's more to this life than making money. Maybe I need to live in service, because I had heard that in different audio programs that you should always live in service, or whether it's tidying or doing other things, and be of value in service of others, because that's how really you're going to get ahead in life, not by just going after money, but if you live in service. You know, I really admire, you know, homeless people that don't have a home to live in. You know, instead of just sitting there with a sign, say, hey, please give me money. Hey, man, I'll wash your windows, you know, and give me a couple bucks. Like, I appreciate that when they're actually doing a service to get some money versus just begging for money, right? And I want you guys, encourage you guys to do some kind of service to benefit others, because when you do a service, you will be benefited as well. And so I made a point in my life that if I get out of this life and not life situation, I will live in service more to others, because that's how truly I could be more happy in life and also have a goal in life and have a purpose. Because that's another thing that I learned in the hospital, is that if you live without purpose, you know, what is life worth living for anyways? So as things would have it, I was given a second chance at life, even though the doctors had no second chance for me. And you know, I was given my life back. So I was like, okay, I gotta go on this program that I had committed to. But more importantly, when I left the hospital, I asked the doctor, so doctor, why did I get this situation in the first place, right? And he says, John, you have what's called complement immune deficiency, which basically they blamed a genetically weak immune system. That's why I got the disease, and none of my other friends that I was hanging out with got the disease, and that I almost lost my life because I had a weak immune system. And this was not too surprising, because back in the day, you know, I had also, you know, things like allergies, asthma, and eczema, which are also autoimmune conditions. So this was apparent at a young age, and literally did I know that it hit me later in a big way. So at that point, when I left the hospital, doctors wanted to give me immunization against the spinal meningitis, and I didn't want to take their stuff, because if they couldn't guarantee I was going to walk out of there, I didn't want to basically, you know, take their immunizations that may or may not protect me, that may even not be good for me, you know. And I'm not a big fan of immunizations at this point in general, but there are always exceptions to the rule. And so when I left the hospital, I knew I needed to do something. I knew I needed to change my life, change my diet, do something so that I could build my immune system. And that's when I got into juicing. And so I found a Juice Man juicer infomercial, and I ordered the juicer because he said you could build your immune system. And I mean, he said you could lose weight and have more energy and all that, but that wasn't really important to me. All I knew I needed to build my immune system, so I ordered the juicer, got the juicer, and started juicing, and I felt good. And then I was like, oh man, this juicing stuff is great. It tastes really good. And it's an excellent way for you guys that aren't eating enough fruits and vegetables to get those in, because you could really pound in the juice. Like last night I juiced 5 pounds of carrots and had 6 cups of carrot juice, you know, and most people don't even do that. This morning I juiced a huge cucumber, a whole bunch of dandelions, you know, a pineapple and some celery, and had a delicious vegetable juice. But so yeah, juicing was really good to me. And then the next step was I was in a bookstore or a health food store, and I saw a book called Cleanse and Purify Thyself. They talk about colon cleansing and how death begins in the colon and how you should cleanse. And so I was really enthralled by this book. I hadn't read a book since college, and went on this cleanse. And basically, once they said, oh, you're on the cleanse, you can't go back to eating the foods that you used to eat that basically made you toxic in the first place. And I thought I ate a pretty clean vegetarian style diet with, you know, no red meat since like 1990. All this kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I'll do that. And then I went on the cleanse, and then for the first time in my life, my skin 100% cleared up, because I'd always had like dry skin condition and eczema, and the doctors would always give me creams and all kinds of stuff for it, and nothing would ever help. And you know, I remember my doctor Messina, my pediatrician, you know, when I was about 10, he says, okay, John, when you're 13, you're gonna grow out of your dry skin, you know, your hormones are going to kick in, and that's when your body starts to change. And we see a lot of kids grow out of this stuff. So I waited every year for my birthday. On my 13th birthday, I wake up like, okay, my skin's going to be better. This is probably the best blessing I could ever get, because I'm going to start dating girls, and what girl wants to go out with a guy with dry skin and all this stuff, right? And I woke up, and guess what? Nothing changed. So I was really kind of dismayed at the whole medical system at that point, early on, I suppose. But anyways, after this cleanse, for the first time in my life, even all the different prescriptions and things, over the counter, under the counter, creams I put on, nothing ever worked until I did this cleanse, and then my skin 100% cleared up. And I remember crying while I'm taking a shower in this house that I was renting on a golf course. And I don't know if I was crying because I was so happy and so glad that my skin had cleared up for the first time in my life, after 20 odd years, or I was scared shitless because I had to do this raw food diet, because that's what the book and also the juice man said, that if you go on this cleanse, you shouldn't eat the food that got you in this toxic state. You should go on a raw food diet. And likewise, the juice man, when I bought his juicer, it came with some cassette tapes, and he says, the one thing that prematurely ages you faster than anything else is cooked foods. Don't put cooked foods in your body. So, back after I did that cleanse, I was like, okay, John, you just have to live this way to not only build your immune system, to remain toxin-free, to have stronger immune system, to have clear skin. And I believed at that point it's just the best way to live. And so since that time in 1995, I'm glad to say that I've been 99.99% raw. Of course I had slip-ups along the way, but I don't eat any cooked foods on any kind of basis nowadays, unless somebody sneaks something in that I don't know is cooked. But I'm pretty aware, and even I go to a potluck and they have like canned garbanzo beans, which are really still cooked. I'm like, oh, those are like out of a can, even though they're raw because they're not heated. They're not really raw, so I'll pick them off and not eat them. And I'm very particular about what I eat and what I don't. And so, yeah, so that's basically what I did since then. And I did it for my health. So yes, you could call me, oh, John's into plant-based diet because of his health reasons. He's not a true vegan. All right, well, good enough. You come up to that conclusion. And, that's why I got into it. And yeah, I cared about animals because I didn't eat red meat because I knew it was not good for me, and animals had to lose their life and stuff, back in 1990. And this was, the mid-90s at this point. But so I changed my diet. And I learned that the fruits and the vegetables are the best foods, and those are the ones we should really concentrate on. So I'd been going along, and then, I took a vacation to Hawaii, met this cool girl, I forget her name now, Callie or something. But we were hanging out on Big Island, and actually there was this big vegan thing. And I was like, all right, well, I'm a raw vegan. We could check out this vegan thing. And basically they played this movie called The Witness. I'll put a picture of it right there. The Witness. I do encourage you guys to watch the movie. I'll put a link also down below. I think it is available for YouTube now, on YouTube for free. And we had a screening of The Witness with like 20 people at the Gentle Worlds, Hawaii headquarters, because I guess I didn't know, but they're a pretty big vegan organization. They wrote books and all this stuff, and a community and all this stuff. And I watched the movie, and I just remember watching that movie, and it was like this New Yorker guy that you would never think could be a vegan in your whole entire life. He's like a strong New Yorker, construction guy with an accent, and like he's gonna kick your ass, but he like turned vegan. And like I watched the movie and I cried as I watched the movie and the injustice being done to the animals. And just thinking about it, it kind of makes me sad, that that's still happening today. So it really woke me up to what's going on in the world, because previous to that I really hadn't seen any of that. It's like out of sight, out of mind. And why I make my videos is that you guys will have more of an awareness of what goes on in life. So at that point, I'm like, okay, John, you're not going to eat any more, animals or animal products. And of course, we all do the best we can. I hadn't really eaten any animal products except once, maybe a couple years later. I had some, or was this years before? I had like some fish that my friend caught in the ocean, and we cooked, over a fire, at low heat next to the coals or something. And that's the only meat that I knowingly had eaten. And actually, nothing really happened to me negatively that I felt. Not to say that something happened negatively in my body. And then I've experimented with, dairy products since that time. And raw dairy products, that is. And some of the best for my friends' goats that I milked and all this stuff. And I'm not ashamed to tell you guys this, because I just want to keep it honest and transparent. And that stuff totally didn't agree with me. And, and that's just what it is. So I just don't do those things anymore and don't think there's a need. But could you just say, oh, John, you're not vegan because you tried meat once 10 years ago? Well, what about a new person that just got vegan information, learned about plant-based diet, learned about not killing animals? They decide to go vegan today, and yesterday they ate a hamburger at McDonald's. Are they not vegan because, you know, they ate a hamburger yesterday. No, everybody's on their own journey and their path. So I want all you guys to appreciate everybody's journey and path, no matter where they're at. And I have to get off the path sometimes because I know nobody's perfect in life. Most of us have gotten off the vegan path, even if you unknowingly and ate something at a potluck that had animal products in it or something, or what we think is the vegan path. And nobody's perfect, so we all do the best I can. And I got off track because, you know, my whole premise is not this whole vegan thing, but it's a health thing. And I'll be straightforward with you guys on that as well. And if I found out that I needed some animal products to eat to make my health, to improve my health because I was deficient on a vegan diet, I would totally do it, right? I would totally do it. I wouldn't really like doing it. And before I did it, I would find every other possible alternative to doing it, to eating any animals, because there are other alternatives and I have not found any need to eat any kind of animal products. You know, dairy is unnecessary, meats are unnecessary, eggs are unnecessary. There are other foods you can get with the same nutrients that are in the animal food. So really, if you guys are eating meat, you could be doing it for fun, enjoyment, because you like the taste, that's great. But in my opinion, we don't need to do it for nutrition. You don't need to do it to be optimally healthy if you pay attention to the vegan diet. Now, likewise, there's plenty of vegans that are just vegan for ethical reasons, which I think is great, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But, you know, you could eat Ho-Hos, Twinkies, and Ding Dongs, be Ding Dong yourself, and drink Coke. Those foods are vegan because they don't have any animal products, but they're still not healthy. So my message is a health and compassion message to you guys. And if you choose not to be entirely vegan, and I don't really care what you guys do. I'm not here to say be vegan or you're right or you're wrong, you're good, or I don't really care. But what I do want you to do is minimize the amount of animals that you are consuming to minimize their suffering. And if you do choose not to be vegan, right, this is what I think every non-vegan that eats animals or their products should do, is that they should keep their own animals as pets. And if you want to eat one of your chickens, slaughter your own chicken, kill your own chicken, so that you know where the food came from. It didn't come from an industrialized system where people slitting chickens' necks, don't give a shit about anything. You're going to care about your pets. Like, I would never want to kill one of my animals to eat them. Like, never. It wouldn't happen. I'd rather eat grass and live on grass first, right? And I know because, you know, one of the other experiences I had in my life is that I kept pet ducks. I got 2 pet Muscovy ducks, and they're really cool because they don't quack, they're not loud. I love my ducks, my baby ducklings. I got them when they were little babies, and I raised them, and they would help me around the garden. They would follow me around. I'd pick up black pots, nursery pots, and they would see a slug on it, and they would just eat it. And then they would wag their tail because they were so happy. And because I was vegan, you know, I didn't want to clip their wings, and I didn't want to put them in a cage. So I let them roam around and sleep in my greenhouse. And, you know, one day I had a blackie and whitey, and one day the black one flew away, and I was quite sad. I was like, well, I hope he's okay. And I don't know if he flew away, got hit by a car, if, you know, maybe a Mexican family down the road found him and ate him for dinner. And so I was like, okay, well, that's what happens when you don't clip their wings. Then I had Whitey, and Whitey stuck around for maybe another couple weeks, a month. And then soon enough, Whitey, you know, took off and flew away, and I was really sad, and I never knew what happened to my ducks, but I just hope that they're living a happy life somewhere, right? Because they're really cool creatures. When you got to pet a duck's head and touch its neck, even though it has all these feathers, like its neck is really thin and skinny, I really felt for my ducks. People just killed too many animals to eat, right? And it's not necessary. So, before you pick up a package of duck or chicken, right, I really want you guys to grow it and kill it yourself if that's what you want to do. And I believe everybody should do what they want to do, but I believe that if more people had to kill their own meat, you know, more people would be vegans. So, I mean, that's what I think, that's what I feel after all these years. And you know, after that, I learned about other things that were happening. So the gentle world, the people that I found out that turned me on to being a vegan and more for ethics and for compassionate and for empathy, they came out with like this rule or something, because they, you know, everybody has their own rules about what vegan is and what vegan isn't. You know, it's kind of sad, even though there's the original definition, but then there's a Wikipedia definition. You know, I don't know. But basically, they said that, oh, dulse, which is a seaweed product, you know, and I used to eat a lot of dulse in the early days, and I still like to enjoy dulse. It's one of my favorite seaweeds because it doesn't actually taste fishy, and it's really a good, rich and source of trace minerals and nutrients. You know, they said dulse is no longer vegan because now when they harvest the dulse, you know, there's there's snails that are in the dulse, and I've eaten dulse many times, and I'm eating the dulse and crunch, and you're crunching on the snail shell, which is kind of gross. And they're like, dulse is no longer vegan. And I was like, oh man, now I can't eat dulse. And then I was like, thought about other things. I was like, where does this all end, right? If there's like white flies on my plant and then I kill the white flies and eat it, now I'm not vegan because I killed white flies that are trying to live, you know, on my plant, or do I blow them off? And there's snails that are eating my baby lettuce starts, and if I don't kill them, then I won't have lettuce in my garden. Or I could let big farmers grow my lettuce, but then they're using maybe pesticides or even organic pesticides and other controls to kill slugs, because if you have plants, especially in a monoculture, there will be bugs and insects that they will have to control. So I could let somebody else control the bugs for me using pesticides and killing bugs and pests and other animals on Earth, or I could do myself in a more sustainable fashion and do less harm. And so, in my opinion, you know, as much as my intentions are 100% vegan, I might eat honey, you know, once a month. And I learned about different implications of honey by going to a beekeeping class on how, you know, most of the honey out there is not raised in an ethical or environmentally or good way for the bees. Actually, probably the majority of it. Even local honey is better than, you know, just farmed honey. But the best honey is if you had your own bees, and I worked on keeping my own bees, but they all flew away because evidently they didn't want to be here, and I was all right with that, you know. I'm not trying to control any creatures on the planet. But making your own hay would be the best when you just kind of take a little bit off the top and you don't, you know, basically smoke out your bees. I mean, the thing is this. I mean, with the bees pollinate 70% of the crops out there, right? So if I'm eating honey and I'm not vegan, because honey is not a vegan product, it's from the animals, they use enslaved bee labor, right, to pollinate crops, you know, to pollinate almonds. So, you know, I've been driving in California, like on the I-5, and I saw a big 18-wheeler truck with all these beehives in the back of the truck, and it has this big net over the truck, and their beehives are in there. The bees are buzzing around, but they can't escape, so they're being contained. And I see a lot of dead bees in the bottom of the net. Because, you know, to industry, bees are commodity. You know, food is a commodity. And it's this disconnection we have, whether that's buying meat in a package or buying almonds that were, you know, they used enslaved bees to pollinate, and you're just buying the almonds, but you don't see the labor, whether that's fair trade human labor or not, or the bees. You know, we don't see all that. So I really want to encourage you guys to kind of think about how things come to be when we're going to purchase them. And if by raising my own garden, I really get to see how animals can be used positively and negatively in agriculture. You know, how animals are totally involved with the food system, and how, you know, insects in the animal kingdom are being killed in the food system, even if you guys are eating vegan foods, right? Either knowingly or unknowingly. And yes, of course, you know, I try to consciously do the best I can and be as good as I can and not kill other animals. But, you know, in life and in nature, there's no such thing as a whole vegan society or vegan animals, right? This is something that we've created in our heads. So, you know, instead of being vegan or not vegan, you know, how about you guys just do the least amount of you know, suffering in the world? You know, I mean, yes, I have to kill some bugs sometimes to eat foods without the bugs on it, or I could just, I suppose, eat live bugs, but I'd rather, you know, brush them off, wash them down the sink, you know, spray some organic nutrients or fertilizers or whatever, pesticides on them. But even above all that, what I've learned is that if you have healthy soil, right, and you have good trace minerals in the soil, you have good microbes in the soil, you could produce higher levels of protein in plants, which are healthy for us. And then also with the more complex proteins, like 50% more protein in green beans that you grew under ideal situation than green beans you buy at the store. With higher proteins in the crops, the bugs don't want them. So then guess what? If you have high quality plants, you don't need to kill the bugs. So that's my goal, right? And I want you guys always to have a goal. I mean, not all of us start out at 100% vegan or whatever, and you're a percentage, or you're either vegan or you're not. I don't really care, but we want to live with more compassion in life. And that's why I made the last video, and that's why I'm sharing with you guys this story, to let you guys know my experiences, you know, with being vegan and my thoughts and how I think, right? And I just try to do the best I can. I try to live the most compassionately, be more sustainable on our planet, because there's so many things that are happening that are unsustainable. And for me, being a vegan, or if you want to call me plant-based, is just one part of many things. You know, I called today I got 5 different solar companies coming out to my house next week to get solar panels on my roof so that I don't have to keep buying, the energy from the energy company, where they're burning coal or burning other, fossil fuels to make energy, which is destroying the planet and destroying habitat for creatures. Oil spills have killed tons of birds in the Gulf of Mexico, and everybody still is driving cars, so I'm going to be getting an electric car to kind of get away from that whole thing. I mean, I could just go on and on about the natural products and things I use, and I researched toilet paper for like 8 hours to figure out the best toilet paper. It's made from bamboo instead of wood because they're deforesting things, and it doesn't have any like dioxin bleach in there, and you could just get crazy. So I just try to do the best I can. I want to encourage you guys to do the best you can, and you guys could all learn from what I've learned in my life, and that's simply why I make these videos. I mean, another thing I learned recently is I love coconuts. Coconuts are my number one favorite food. And I made the commitment, a couple years ago, to buy coconuts from Mexico instead of the ones from Thailand. So I recently saw a video, I'll post the link down below, where they're using actually monkey labor to harvest coconuts in Thailand. So if you're eating Thai coconuts, whether that's, Thai coconut water in a bottle or out of the coconut, or you're using, coconut meat from tropical locations, they may be using monkey labor to harvest your coconuts. Now, are you not vegan because now they're using slave labor or slave monkeys to harvest your coconuts? I mean, how far do you want to take this? And then you could just, okay, I'm not going to eat coconuts. I'm not going to eat anything derived from a coconut. I'm not going to eat lettuce because they killed snails on the lettuce. Or I'm sure we've all gotten that head of lettuce that they actually still have bugs alive in it because it's organic, right? Or we see a caterpillar, like you could try to put the caterpillar outside, but, actually my girlfriend got a caterpillar on some lettuce and it was already not alive. But so she's a vegan, more vegan than I am, but knowingly she ate the lettuce even though she saw that the caterpillar had to lose its life because it got sprayed with something for her organic lettuce. So I'm not a vegan. I mean, aside from honey, everything that goes in my mouth is 100% plant-based, and I want you guys to be plant-based. And I much rather prefer the term personally as plant-based than vegan, because vegan goes along with a lot of other kind of thinking and all this kind of stuff, But yeah, so I mean, this is just me rambling and me sharing my story, and hope you guys, this tells you guys, more about me, my thoughts, and I try to live as compassionately as possible. And I want to encourage you guys to live as compassionately as possible and as, empathetically as possible, but also realize that things are happening every day. When next time you fill up your gas tank, try to think about or Google search, how does the gas produce? Where is it mined from? Where is it shipped from? All the transportation costs, what creatures have been displaced by, using and refining fuels, and now all the carbon emissions we're putting in the environment. What is that doing to the environment? And try to do the best you can, right? I'm not here to say that anybody is right or wrong, but like I like to teach in my videos, good, better, best, right? There's always a better way, and I want to encourage you and teach you guys and open your minds up to maybe doing things in a better way. And that's what I just simply share in my videos, the better way that I believe I found, and sharing that with you guys so that you guys could model that, emulate it, and do that too if you guys want to, as an alternative. Because I think what we really need in this world is alternatives, and being more divergent in thinking, and thinking of the possibilities, and being a possibility thinker, something that I learned about a long time ago, instead of being a divergent thinker and like, oh, being vegan is the answer, this is the answer, that's the answer, right? How about there's many different answers to the world's problems, and I want you guys to get working on doing at least some of them. And one of the ways you could do is by eating more plants, especially fruits and the vegetables, the best plants on the planet, and eating less and eliminate the processed foods, the animal products, and the meats. So hopefully this has helped you guys out. Also, as I learned, it'll benefit your health more. The less animals you eat, the more fresh fruits and vegetables you eat, the healthier you're going to be, because there's all kinds of different antioxidants, pigments, and plant phytochemicals and plant hormones that can keep you healthy. And one of the questions I get a lot is, John, you look really young, you look really great. What's that do? Well, I think, just like Jay Cordich said, the one thing that prematurely ages you faster than anything else is cooked foods. Don't put them in your body. I haven't done that. So, I think that is definitely really important. But I think the main thing is that it's not about what I am eating. It's also about what I'm not eating. I'm not eating the animal products and processed foods, GMO foods, that I believe really fastly, age you. And by eating high antioxidant foods, that, in my opinion, is some of the best anti-aging things. And also, of course, staying fully hydrated by drinking juices and coconut waters and other things. And If you want to learn more about me, my lifestyle, my diet, hey, please check that link down below. I'll put a link right there, or right here, right there, wherever, to the video, my 20 tips that I wish I learned 20 years ago when I started a raw, plant-based diet. If you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please give me a thumbs up to let me know. I'll do more videos like this where I just chat at you guys in the future. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you can be notified of my new and upcoming episodes. And of course, check my past episodes. Over 400 episodes now on this YouTube channel, educating you guys about health, diet, and lifestyle. So once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best. All right, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and this is one that you will definitely want to pay attention to and watch the whole thing, because, you know, this is a topic that's very important to me, and I got a friend on, good friend,